It's a blustery spring day, and I'm at Argyle Winery with Alan Holstein, who is the wine grower here, and he is in charge of all the wine grapes here, the plants. You do a great job. I love your wine.
Thank you. No, it's my job to get the vines pruned and take care of them over the summer and balance the crop and balance the pruning and get the best possible grapes to the winery in the fall.
Excellent.
And then they have another team that takes over.
It sells it to us.
Yep.
Thank you so much. It makes it.
Uh-huh.
Well, you know, I don't think it's too late to do it. I mean, it's getting to be the end of March, but really, it's not too late. You guys still have a little bit to do here.
Yeah, no, we purposely time it not to finish too soon because in the vineyards, commercially, April's pretty quiet. So we have crews that have to eat 12 months out of the year, so we try not to finish too early. It's too late when you start to knock buds off.
Okay.
You can see here, that's a bud, and it's in the cottony, woolly bud stage is what they call it, where you get some sort of woolly, cottonish type of appearance there. It's not as dormant as it was, but it's just coming out. As that grows, and you're pulling brush or manipulating vines, and then it breaks off, then it's too late.
Okay.
And that's typically not till middle of April.
Okay.
In Portland town, at low elevations, it might be 1st of April, but up here on the hill, it's middle of April. And we start sometimes right after Thanksgiving.
Wow, that early.
On a small scale. Again, we've got 500 acres to do, so you gotta pace yourself. And so we don't do that much volume that time of year. There's some downsides to pruning that early, but that's the time frame.
And so here I see a lot of different canes here. And this is what was last year was production. So for me, this makes it look a lot of mess almost. And so do I cut everything? Do I cut high, low? Where would I start cutting?
Well, it's first important to know that all the grapes are born on one-year-old wood. So this grew last year, this grew last year. All these canes grew last year. So any fruit next year will be born on these and not on the trunk. This is permanent wood. This is one-year-old wood. So there's a relationship between the weight of all these prunings and the amount of buds that you leave. And in your audience, you have different spacings and different soils and different little microclimates that it really would behoove a person that's serious just to weigh the prunings and leave maybe 5 to 10 buds per pound of pruning, depending on what their experience has been. If their grapes didn't get very sweet, and they had a lot of them, then that means they left too many buds.
Oh, okay.
So, so this is a cordon prune vine. It's a secondary style in Oregon commercial settings. We're experimenting with it, but we'll look at this cordon prune vine, and then we'll look at some cane prune vines just to show you the difference.
Well, so I go from here, and so this vine here is what I want to get to.
Yep, that's the finished product.
Okay.
And we know we want to leave so many buds per acre, and there's so many plants per acre here. So we come into it thinking, okay, we want to leave at least 12 buds on this plant in order to get to the number per acre that we want.
Oh, okay. Well, this is cordon, and so we're going to go right across the road here and look at a different style.
You want to cut some first?
Oh, sure.
Well, just to show you how drastic it is, I'm going to cut that back to there, that to there. One little trick is, you can always give directions better than take them, is you want the blade next to where you're going to cut.
So you're nice and close.
So you're nice and close. If you turn it so that the anvil is between the blade and what you're cutting, you can quite often leave a bud that you don't want to leave. So you get a cleaner cut if you do that.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Well, it's nice that you could just do really close pruning in like that. You just take everything away, and you can compost it or chip it.
Yep.
And you really come to really next to nothing.
It looks like they're naked to the inexperienced, the amount that you cut off. You take off about 90% of the weight, usually, to get to the kind of quantity that we want. You know, for wine grapes, there's an inverse relationship between quantity and quality. If you leave too many buds, you'll have too many grapes, and if you have too many grapes, they won't get sweet enough to make high quality wine. And the same is true of table wine. Table grapes is you like them sweet.
So it's just a little bit of maybe recording what you get, and so that you know the next year how to prune.
Yeah, we come out with a little handheld scale and bundle all the cuttings from prunings from one vine, weigh it, record it, and we go to the same vines every year, so that we know what the interaction of our practices and the weather during the course of the year, did it lead to more pruning weights or less pruning weights? And we also look at pruning weights when we come to make decisions about whether or not to leave grass that competes with the vines for water and nutrients. If there's too much growth, then we'll leave more grass to provide competition. You know, grapes in a luxuriant environment will just grow and grow and grow. So it's unlike some garden species. We don't fertilize these.
Oh, so for a home gardener too, we don't want to water too much and we don't want to fertilize.
Yeah, once they're established, we have drip irrigation here, and if it's a dry year, we'll water in August. Once all the moisture in the soil has been consumed, we'll add back some amount less than what they would consume in a luxurious environment. But during the early part of the season, any additional water or nutrients would just cause them to grow more, which is what you don't want.
Right. Let's go take a look at those other ones then. Now, Alan, this is just the same grape, but you just left 2 canes.
This is called cane pruning, as opposed to cordon that we looked at first. This is planted in '93, so it's a bigger vine, and it's a different spacing, but same variety, Pinot Noir. And this is how most of Oregon commercial vineyards are pruned, and how I would envision most of the
for a homeowner.
Homeowners would do it this way too, but the relationship is still the same in terms of weight and number of buds. You can see there's individual buds here.
Right.
So it's the same relationship, just a different style. And so this has already been pruned, obviously, and the next step will be to lay this down on a wire and tie it with a twisty.
Okay.
And you can see some yellowish paint here. That's to prevent the entry of wood rotting pathogens. So we'll put some little medicine on there on big cuts. And that's one of the differences between this style of pruning and that. You don't have as many big cuts on that style. But that's what all that's about. So you can see how drastic it is.
Right.
And I think for your viewers, it's always surprising how much you cut off. But,
right. Well, I think we can all take away, it's not too late to do it, and you can't really make a mistake at all. And so you just want to leave either 2 canes and tie those down, or you could take everything off and then just tie it up as you go.
And cut more rather than less.
Right. Well, I think we'll have to come up back this summer, and you could teach us all about summer pruning, and we'll drink some wine.
That's when the action is, in the summer.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
You bet.